Karibu sana yet again if you just tuned in to Y254. It is all about youth and entrepreneurship on this fine Tuesday. Now, like we said earlier on the show, as we say every Tuesday, we like to share fantastic ideas on business, innovation, and even investment. And so today, like you saw in the particular video earlier on, well, it's all about this new wave that has cut across the globe, which is digital currency. Do you want to know more about what cryptocurrencies are all about, how you can invest, and why you should even bother investing in them even as a young person? Well, in studio with me today is Apollo Erick, who is a financial trader and investor and founder of Point50 Capital, to tell us more about digital currency. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much.
All right, so this, let me tell you, of course, has been making headlines. You obviously know, and not. I think the boom came in. When would you say the boom came in? Was it last year or the year before? Because digital currency has been around for a while, but suddenly the spike and the interest just grew the past couple of years.
I think there was a lot of media coverage in the past year, and that media coverage, got so many people to study about it, learn more about it, invest about it, and yeah, that's when we even had a bubble. You can say we had a bubble burst in somewhere in December, because the price went down by around 60%. Yeah. So, and right now, if you look at the market, the prices are starting to gain momentum again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your background is in finance. You've been trading. You've been an investor.
Yes.
Back then, growing up, we all knew about things like shares.
Yes.
We talked about, and even shares at that time was also still a bit murky. People didn't really understand,
that is true,
what shares are all about. How did you transition from doing something like shares or different types of investments, stocks, bonds, into now digital currency?
So I started off trading just Forex.
Yeah.
That is after campus, somewhere in 2012, 2013. Then, as my confidence grew, I went into trading, shares, you can say that, or equity. I also added into my portfolio commodities, like gold, oil, and all that. But then, as a trader, once you learn to trade, trading is a skill. Once you learn how to trade, you can trade anything that has price.
Okay. So
as the cryptocurrency exchanges came into the market, it became very easy to buy and sell or trade cryptocurrencies. So it was just a question of just porting the skills that I had, trading these other assets into trading cryptocurrencies.
Because the basics are the same, the fundamentals are there.
The market is just market. If prices are going up, you buy. If the prices are going down, you sell. Just in the strategy that works.
Okay, okay.
That can beat the market.
Okay, fine. Yeah, so let's take it from the top. What exactly is cryptocurrency?
The best way to look at it is internet money.
Okay.
Or virtual currency, because it is a store of value. If you bought Bitcoin when it was just $1,
yes,
right now it's over 10,000 US dollars.
Can you imagine that?
So
wow,
the value really has increased.
Yeah.
It's also a medium of exchange, because you can use it to buy stuff.
Yes.
In a place like Dubai, you can even buy a condo today using Bitcoin.
Yes.
There's even an island where you can be able to pay for your passport and do all sorts of transactions.
Yes.
Using cryptocurrencies. So we are moving into a world where we won't just use the money that we have, the paper money or the coins that we have. People are going to use technology to do transactions.
Right.
And so if you ask me, it's just a new way of money that people must just find a way to embrace.
Because it's here. And
it's not going away.
It's not going away.
Yeah.
All right. So it's actually said, by the way, and maybe you can agree or disagree with me, Apollo, on this, is that funny enough, interestingly enough, Kenyans apparently have the privilege of probably understanding this better than anyone else across the globe, because we have M-Pesa. So is it easier for us to kind of grasp the concept of what digital money is?
I've always said that building on the story of M-Pesa, Kenya need to lead the world in legalizing Bitcoin and all these other cryptocurrencies as legal tender. Though there are people who have issues with that. I think we are better placed to teach the world how to use virtual currency, because we've used M-Pesa. And what is M-Pesa? M-Pesa is actually digital cash, because you can just use your phone to pay for something. It can be coffee in a restaurant. It can be, you know, utility bill like electricity, or even, you know, your internet. Even Uber, you know, taxi services. A place like Singapore today, you can actually use Bitcoin to pay for your taxi services, your Uber.
Wow. Okay. All right. So different countries now have adopted digital currency. So pretty much you go to a store, if you're making any transaction, it says either, for example, such and such a currency is accepted here. Now, speaking about the currencies, because people have heard about these currencies, how many currencies are there when we talk about cryptocurrencies?
Last time I checked, which was last night, there were around 1,350.
Really?
Yeah, and you know, each and every day there's a new currency that comes into the market. Because each and every currency, you know, serves some kind of different purpose.
Right.
So there is the technology that underlies these cryptocurrencies called blockchain technology. In the case of Bitcoin, it was supposed to be a form of money, you know, that can operate outside, you can say, the establishment. That was the original idea. Because if you look back in history, how or when Bitcoin came, it came around February in 2009. And that was just 2 months after the global financial crisis. And it was a time when there was a lot of fear, doubt in the world, because people had lost their houses, people had lost their savings. That financial meltdown, it was a very big crisis. And people felt like, okay, it was not our mistake. It was someone else's mistake. And I'm not going to mention names here, but you know, it's the trust and confidence in maybe, say, you know, the big institutions or banks. I'm not going to, you know, mention one particular one by name, but because we need to have a trusted intermediary, someone who can take our money and use it for, you know, the best. And technology is allowing us to build those systems that can be trusted. And this is a form of money that no one can control. Bitcoin, it's a form of money that no one can control. No central bank in the world issues it.
So this is the major difference between paper money and digital. And for example, let's say Bitcoin, is that it is decentralized. Completely
decentralized. Anyone can join, anyone can have access to it. It is borderless, so you can access it and use it anywhere in the world. It is the most secure. I mean, in the academic cycles, they've tried, you know, hacking and doing all forms of research, you know, to bring the network down. They've really not succeeded. So it's really the most secure form of technology right now we have in the world. Okay. All right. So
now speaking about, for example, the currencies that seem to be quite popular, is Bitcoin the most popular currency as we speak?
If you look at the entire market capitalization of cryptocurrencies, around $600 billion US dollars, and Bitcoin takes like a third of that. So it's still the most popular. And this is why, because, you know, Bitcoin serves as a reserve currency in what I call crypto economics. So there's this small world of crypto economics where, you know, everything, all transactions you do, you know, using digital cash. Just like in our normal world, US dollar is the reserve currency. So if you're going to measure the strength of Kenya shillings, you want to measure it against the US dollar. If you're going to measure the strength of, you know, whatever currency people in Israel use, it's against the US dollar. So if you come to crypto economics, you realize that the price of Ether, which is, you can say, the second most popular cryptocurrencies, it's measured against the the Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is like the reserve against which everything is measured. It's like the standard. Because it was the first one, still the most resilient and very strong. The network just keeps going strong and strong.
All right, so we're going to ask you to send in your questions through 22162. Please begin the words with, rather your text message with the words YM254 if you do have any questions for Apollo concerning cryptocurrency. We do welcome them, and we will be sampling probably one or two towards the tail end of this interview. Now, Apollo, Kenyans have been really bashed when it comes to the whole idea of pyramid schemes. And there's this notion, there's the belief that, by the way, cryptocurrencies are just another pyramid scheme. That thing sounds almost just like that, because there's a formula towards how some of these currencies are operating. Can you actually break down how cryptocurrencies are working in the case, for example, of Bitcoin? How does it operate?
Okay, so first I'll agree with you. There's a lot of pyramid schemes around, even around cryptocurrency right now and Bitcoin. And people have actually been scammed, and they've lost, you know, a lot of money. How they work is, there has to be someone who's accepting it, and you need to own it. And you can buy it in these open marketplaces. There are so many peer-to-peer marketplaces where you can buy it from. How it works, maybe I can explain how it's generated.
Yes.
So we have thousands and thousands of computers around the world that run this network called the blockchain network. And whenever there's a transaction in the network, what happens is that one of the nodes or all of the nodes compete to validate the transaction. So the first node that will be able to beat all the other nodes, a node is just a computer, powerful computer that runs the software.
Right.
And it computes a lot of mathematical calculations to be able to arrive at a point where it validates that this transaction is actually valid. Because that's the essence of blockchain technology. It is secure, and then once something goes in there, you cannot change. It's immutable. Yeah. So the node that succeeds in validating a transaction earns a reward. So it's an incentivized kind of network, because it's not controlled by anyone. It's a community of tech enthusiasts or young people, if you may call. And the node that succeeds in validating the transaction, the first one, earns Bitcoin, and that's how Bitcoins are created. Yeah, so it's based on social consensus and economic incentive to be able to run the network. Unlike our current money system, where and I'm sorry to say this, but it is the truth. We print money out of thin air. We have printing press for money all over the world, and then we inject it into the economy using big banks through credit to businesses and individuals. So this is, if you ask me, a better form of money, because you can never print a cryptocurrency. You can never interfere with the value. The value is based on supply and demand. Right. In the market.
I actually did want to ask you that. What really does determine the value of a currency? So it is the value in
so far right now, there is a bubble, because if you look at the price of Bitcoin is over $10,000 US, but does that really mean that that is the value of Bitcoin? I don't think so. It's just that we young people look at it as a form of investment, as what I would call a millennial kind of gold. Yeah. And therefore we are buying it and holding, sitting onto it in the hope that the price will go up. So the supply is way higher than the demand, the production, and that's what keeps the price going up lately. But if you look at other blockchain platforms like Ether, it's really a platform that can enable you to build a decentralized application. So it's an application which is, you can say, borderless. Yes. You can't bring it down because it doesn't have a single point of weakness. It's really decentralized. There's thousands and thousands of computers running around the world that hosting. So if you bring down one computer, there's another one in Uganda, there's another one in UK that's still running it. So you're never going to bring it down. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I know in terms of part of our FAQs that that come up, especially when we talk about digital currency and whatnot, is the risk management or the risk factor that's actually put into it, the assessment rather. And somebody would actually sit down and say, why would I pump in my money to actually acquire Bitcoins as opposed to doing what I traditionally know, which is buying land, which is I don't know, purchasing different types of assets that we know are tangible, and at least I know the risk that's involved. Why bother getting into digital currency and pumping in my money? I think the obvious one for me is security. Today, the powers that be might decide that the business that you're in is illegal, and they will seize your assets if you have money in the bank, even if you have a property. But if you invest in cryptocurrency, no one will ever seize it. It will be yours until you give it away. Yes. So you really own it. Yeah.
So should someone actually be looking at it as shares, the way we know, okay, you bought KQ shares, you bought Safaricom shares, you bought Kengen shares? Is it really a share?
For me, I have a strategy of how I invest. So one of the things that I look at is the technology trying to solve a real world problem? Yeah. So if it's a blockchain technology, like I can give you an example. I am passionate about free internet. We need to have access to internet. I think it's a human right today,
Right.
if you ask me, because access to information is akin to protecting yourself. If you have the right kind of information, you can protect yourself from anything,
Yeah.
from illiteracy, from ignorance, and all sorts of things, including poverty.
Yeah.
So I look for blockchain technologies that are trying to solve real-world problems. And if you find one that is solving real-world problems and it comes to the cryptocurrency, you want to buy.
Yeah.
But then you also want to look at the problem it's solving. Is there any other technology that can solve it? If there's any other technology that can solve it, I don't invest in it. I want a problem that can only be solved by blockchain tech.
Right.
So it has to be a problem that only blockchain technology can solve. And then, beyond that, I also look at, who is involved, who is the founder, what's their vision,
Yeah.
what do they want to do with this project?
Yes.
What are people saying about them? What's their experience?
Yes.
What have they done before? Do they have, any other projects they've worked in?
Yeah.
So if I have put those three factors together, then now the other issue is it cheap?
Yeah.
Is it discounted in terms of price? Because you want to buy when the price is down, so that when it grows, the network grows, or the value of that network grows, then you make money.
Yeah.
So you must be very careful when you're putting your money, because you don't want to buy when it's up there and then the next day the prices start collapsing.
Okay.
You want to go in when it's very, very cheap. So you must have a criteria
Okay.
of investing.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, so as we continue to discuss investment opportunities as young people, and you really do feel that cryptocurrency is really something that you would be daring to actually jump into, well, we encourage you to, of course, read more about it and, of course, engage individuals such as Apollo on such a discussion. But, of course, we do appreciate your text messages coming to that SMS number 22162. Yet again, please begin the words with YM254. My director has just thrown a couple of questions at me, pretty easy ones, I believe, for you to answer, but go ahead and tell us. Okay, so we've got a question here that says, do you believe that cryptocurrency is something for someone who only has a high appetite for risk? Because I think what they mean by that is, there's the ups and downs, the value of the currency.
Yes, because if we have a major solar flare today and all computers are wiped out of the face of the earth, then all the blockchain networks will go away and we lose all our cryptocurrencies. So you must have some high level risk tolerance, because there's a big chance that at some point you might lose everything. But I think that's just like any other investment. There is always risk involved in in anything that has very high upward potential in terms of value. So yeah, you have to have some level of risk tolerance.
Yes.
Higher than average. Otherwise, just put your money in the bank and wait for that 5-10% interest at the end of the year. If you put it in cryptocurrencies and like how the market performed last year, the currencies which were up by 17,000%. That's a lot.
Then, yes, and then suddenly there was a dip.
There was a dip in December
Yes.
to around February, and right now we're starting to see confidence build up again.
But let's pause there for a minute before we get to the next question. I like what you just actually brought up. Is that, by the way, with the fluctuations, you can actually decide, do I want to put my money in a bank and wait for how much did you say per annum will you be getting interest this days?
Some will give you 4-5%, 7%, even 12% per annum.
12%.
Yeah, depending on the product.
Depending on the product. And then when you decide to put your money into digital currency, you don't know. It could shoot triple, double.
That's why you need people like me who follow the scene to advise you, to tell you what you need to do or where you need to put your money in, because it might go up, it might go down. But I always advise people to when you're investing, don't just invest in Bitcoin as a cryptocurrency. You need to build a portfolio of products. So like invest in like 10 different currencies, doing different kind of things. Yes. And if 5 of them fail and 5 of them succeed, then the success offsets all the failures that you had. So at the end of the day, you make a lot of money.
So for you say it is definitely the best investment anyone can make at this point in time in terms of your return of money.
If you want to fight poverty, if you want to grow rich, invest in digital assets.
Woo! I like that. That's a very powerful statement. Okay, we've got another question here that says, by the way, digital currency seems to be very time consuming. Is it something that one can actually handle on the side? Side biashara.
You can do passive income by getting an expert who does it, and you give them your money and then they can do it on your behalf. But you have to be careful whom you're giving your money, because
this is true.
But in the long run, if you're really passionate about it, you can always learn. You know, it all boils down to your interest and passion.
Yes.
I didn't study finance or that.
Yes.
I majored in medical biotech and a minor in IT.
Yeah.
And I do investing right now. So you have to learn if you want to, because for me, it's not just a job, it's also a hobby.
Yeah.
I started it out as a hobby, trading, you know, looking at those charts and how price is going up and trying to predict where the market will be going to.
Yeah.
So you can learn. You can learn and, you know, make it a passive kind of income.
That can even transition to your full-time job?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You can.
Yeah.
You can. You just need to have the passion, because nothing is easy anyway. What's easy in this world? Even being a tout is a very complex job. So what you need is just the passion and the interest.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I like the next question here that says, companies like Bid Club encourage and pay people an allowance to introduce others into joining companies like Bid Club or to get into digital currency. Isn't this another form of pyramid schemes out there? Because I get what this person is saying, because there's an upline, isn't there?
Yeah.
If I introduce you Apollo, I get a bonus for introducing you into Bid Club network.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about that? Because I think that's one of the reasons why people are so skeptical.
I'm not a member of Bid Club.
Yes.
And I don't really know exactly what they do in there. But what I tell people is research. Think for yourself. Don't allow people to influence you.
Yes.
Really listen to your voice and make your own judgment.
Yes.
Information is out there online. You can read about these things.
Yes.
You can do all forms of research about Bitcoin or any other blockchain technology, and then make your own judgment.
Yes.
The model that you're talking about is actually how most pyramid schemes work.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Bid Club Kenya is a pyramid scheme. Yeah, I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that, you know, it's like they lure in people.
Yes.
The first, you know, few clients get to earn some interest.
Yeah.
And that even attracts more people. And at some point, you know, as more and more people come in, it just falls apart like a house of cards.
Yes.
And, you know, the people started to disappear. So those things are there and they're still going to happen. But I think the best way to protect yourself is knowledge.
Yes.
Do your own research. Don't
I
rely
like
on
that, yeah.
any other person telling you.
Okay, okay. Yeah. So even to some extent, a lot of it, the responsibility actually falls on you.
As an individual.
You must do your reading, you must do your studying.
Any other form of investment, even if you're going to buy land today, you know, who tells you that that broker is the real owner of that land?
Because your title deed is just split you up
exactly,
5 ways.
Exactly.
So you have to do a title deed, I have a title deed of the same land.
Even buying a car today, maybe that car has a loan on it, you know, and someone is trying to sell it to you. Or maybe it has a very, very major problem in the gearbox or something like that. Do your own research. Take the car for a test drive in Mombasa. Feel it.
Okay.
And then make your own decision.
Okay.
Don't rely on, you know, external voices.
All right.
Yeah.
I like this last question that my director has actually thrown to me, and maybe this one you can give us your 2 cents on it.
Yeah.
Betting versus digital currency. Young people are actually quite crazy about betting.
Yeah.
And that seems to be a more viable option for young people, because you know what? It's money in, money out. I can take my chances, and it's in real time. What do you have to say about that? Do you feel that young people are actually going, against the grain, or they're, you know, ruining their chances in terms of their future because they're putting in so much time, so much money into betting and not focusing on viable investments such as digital currency?
I think the problem I have with betting is the fact that it's addictive. Once you get into it, you want to do it more and more and more and more. Yeah. I'm not saying it's bad. I don't bet myself because if I'm going to bet, I want to make sure that, you know, odds are in my favor. So I need to really have base knowledge of what's going on, if it's football, whatever it is. I would go for digital currency if you ask me any time of the day.
Yes.
Invest in digital currencies because these are real life projects which have some of which have even utility value.
Yes.
So it's really like a company. It's just that a new form of way of building businesses.
Yes.
Because what we are creating is, okay, I'm going to saying this, and I'm not saying this because I don't like banks. In the future, we'll have banking. Yes. As a service, but I'm not sure if we'll have banks. I don't know how far that is into the future.
Yes.
And what that means is that all the functions of a bank, from cross-border money transfers to deposits to withdrawals to to lending can already be done today outside the banking system cheaply and more securely. Because we've been able to build technologies which can allow us to do that. And digital currencies or blockchain technology is just building those intermediaries, because bank is just an intermediary. It can take your money and keep it for you, do business with it, at some point give you some interest on it. So we are able to build decentralized technologies that allows us to do all that, and that's what we invest in. So these technologies are there to stay, and they're disrupting all forms of industries.
Yes.
So it's better than betting.
It's better than betting. Okay, so truth be told, there's been a lot of talk about that, and I like the fact that you're saying that it's actually disrupting quite a number of industries. It is said that digital currency is going to do to banks what online banking has done. It is going to do to malls what online shopping has done, the likes of the Alibabas.
Yeah, that's true.
It is going to do to the transportation industry what the likes of Uber and Little Cab have done. Actually, things are moving the digital way. And
so it's not really digital currency, it's blockchain technology. And blockchain technology, one of the children or one of the products of blockchain technology is digital currencies. So I agree with you that what blockchain technology is going to do is what online marketplaces done to malls, and what I'm really excited about the technology is the fact that for the first time we can actually build shared economies. Products like Uber or even Lyft or even Airbnb, allows us to really own.
Right. That's very true.
We own our services and we give it direct to the people who need it. To consumers. This technology goes a step further, just than that, because Uber is a company. This technology, like Bitcoin, you will never find a headquarter called Bitcoin. There's no CEO of Bitcoin. So who owns Bitcoin? It's the community. The community of people who run nodes, like the miners, people who use it for transactions. So it's a truly shared money system. So we're able to truly build shared economies that gives us back control. So we are consumers and producers at the same time.
Wow, fantastic.
That's what technology allows.
Very interesting. Apollo, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to stop you there because we're running out of time, and we can go on and on and on and on about blockchain technologies, and of course, all the benefits, and of course, the kind of queries that people do have about it. But I will be inviting you back another day. I hope you'll be available to share more about cryptocurrency. But of course, yet again, if you do want to know more, how can they actually get in touch with you, because you are consulting?
You can go to my website, www.point50capital.com. You can also get us on Twitter at point50capital. And you can write me an email, apollo@point50capital.com. Or you can call my number, 0700 636308.
Maybe social media would work better. Okay. All right. So can we get you on Facebook? Are you?
I'm on Facebook, but not my business.
Okay.
But you can get me on Twitter.
Okay. All right, Tasa. Sounds good. All right. The number yet again?
0700636308.
Okay, so all right, Apollo, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for hosting me.
That was definitely Apollo Erick, financial trader and investor, and of course founder of Point 50 Capital, discussing blockchain technologies, not to mention what digital currency is all about. I'm telling you, it's quite the monster, and it is taking us, or rather taking the world by storm. And if you do want to know more about that, please do your research. Like Apollo said, it is up to you and I to actually understand what we're putting our money into, right?
It's very true.
Very true. Okay, be sure to keep it Y in the morning. There's definitely more to come. Keep those text messages coming through on 22162 and continue to contribute to our discussion today, which is all about entrepreneurship and career talk.